Bienvenidos a la Daily Hustle. Deuces Wild Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente es el mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito San Dieguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill, not with us this morning either. Nor is Giuseppe Pepe Manuele. But it was a big night for him last night. Regardless, we come on here each and every single morning. And we properly salute our boys, as well as, well, each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks. When we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you on the 21st day of Febrero 2025. The Daily Hustle quote of the day. Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight. Herb Brooks. So last night was a great opportunity. Now, it's interesting because was it a great opportunity for Canada? I don't know. I mean, they've been the dominant force in international hockey for some time now. But more than anything, it was a great opportunity for the sport of hockey to go on full display like that. Now, the first matchup between the USA and Canada in this Four Nations series ended up getting over 10 million viewers. Just insane to think about. So last night, when all the numbers are in, I wouldn't be shocked if it was fucking 20. I'm not kidding. Just about everybody I know watched that game. At least some part of that game. You know, even me, I didn't tune in, although Tara was here and the kids watched the first two periods. I got home just in time for the third period, as I would like it. And look, I'm not even a hockey fan. I don't even know all the rules. My wife had to order. She ordered a hockey or one of those Hockey for Dummies books. But that's exactly what you want. I mean, that is it. To have your sport on an international stage like that. But you then have to step back and you have to ask why. Why was it such a big deal? And it's very simple. There's a story behind it. Here you had the very best players in the United States and the very best players in Canada facing off, going head to head. A lot of these guys are teammates on their own teams in the NHL, right? So this is the best in the world. And then you had the story, the political shitstorm, the Trudeau and Trump and on and on and on. And then, of course, within the last meeting, 9 seconds, 3 different fights. So this is certainly set up for really, I think, was just a grand celebration of hockey last night. Eventually, obviously, Canada went on to win. I'm not going to sit here and say U.S. was a better team. U.S. certainly had a better shot of winning last night, though. They had more shots on goal. Canada's goalie, who apparently, I guess, they didn't want him. He was the worst of the 4 goalies that were in the tournament. He's still, a very good goalie. Had an amazing series in that same building. I think it was back in 2019, and he was back there doing it again last night. And what a job! I mean, it was at least a half a dozen saves that, like, for sure goals, and he was getting them with the mitt. He was getting them with the knee box slide thing, just awesome. And then eventually it was Connor McDavid, the best hockey player in the world, taking over, getting a clean look at the goal, putting it in the upper right-hand corner. I mean, fuck, dude. That did not look easy. Upper right-hand corner, and then that was it. Canada won. But again, it's a celebration of hockey. I really don't think it mattered who won. Eventually, of course, you were going to get Trudeau firing back at Trump. So it says Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took a jab at President Donald Trump after Canada's victory over the United States in the International Hockey Tournament on Thursday. He said, quote, "You can't take our country and you can't take our game," Trudeau wrote on X. Canada bested the United States with 3-2 overtime victory. The highly anticipated final came after a fiery clash between Canada and the U.S. earlier on February 15th, where several fights broke out in the opening seconds. When asked about the tournament and Trudeau's comments by Fox News' Brian Clemade on Friday, Trump said he congratulated Canada's team but fired back at Trudeau, quote, "We won the first game. The second game was a great game. We could have gone either way. Justin's a loser. Always has been." Oh, fuck. I can't get enough of this guy. And he's just a guy that really doesn't. I think he's done a very bad job for Canada. Justin's sort of a nice guy, but he's a loser. Oh, tensions are boiling over the diplomatic front between the U.S. and Canada, as Trump frequently said he wants to make Canada the 51st state. He repeatedly referred to Trudeau as governor instead of prime minister. Trump's also threatening high tariffs on Canada, the second largest trading partner to the U.S. The implementation of a 25% tariff against Canada and Mexico was paused for a month, pulling the U.S. back from a trade war with its neighbors. Earlier in the tournament, fans in Montreal booed the U.S. national anthem before Team USA's first game against Finland. Trump called Team USA before Thursday night's championship game. He said he wanted to, quote, "spur them on towards victory tonight against Canada, which with, quote, far lower taxes and much stronger security will someday, maybe soon, become our cherished and very important 51st state." Trump said because of a prior commitment gathering of Republican governors in Washington, he couldn't attend in Boston. But we will be watching, and Governor Trudeau would also, if he would like to join us, he would be more than welcome. So I think that's a political shitstorm going back and forth between the two. Were just fantastic. Okay, so yesterday you had the first time in the history of Major League Baseball where you had the automated ball and strike system implemented in a big league game. Now, it was a spring training game, but it was there, and it worked beautifully. It worked seamlessly. I was surprised with one of the challenges that happened. I believe it was the first one. It was Cody Petit against Max Muncy, and it was a 0-1 pitch. Muncy said he saw it down in the zone, but he immediately thought it was a strike. Petit thought it was a strike. It was called a ball. Cody goes like this. They review it. Seconds later, it's called a strike. So a lot of people will be looking at this and going, well, what's the big deal? Right? Like, it's a difference between a 0-2 count and a 1-1 count. Well, I can tell you the delta between an 0-2 count for OPS, for example, is going to be like 400. And for a 1-1 count would be probably about 750. So we're talking like a 350-point difference. It gets even higher when you go from a 1-1 count to a 1-2 count or a 1-1 count to a 2-1 count. So every single pitch matters. It's just a matter of time. The Major League Baseball Players Union and Major League Baseball do not have anything set in stone as to when this can be and will be implemented, but I would say at the very latest, the beginning of next year. And I would be shocked if we don't even see this in the playoffs this season. It just makes sense. It's common sense prevailing in a world that sometimes lacks a little bit of exactly that. Speaking of common sense, the Yankees amend their facial hair policy. So after years and years of not being allowed to have facial hair beyond a standard bigote, a dirt squirrel on your upper lip, they have now come to the conclusion, Hal Steinbrenner has said, it's okay to have a, quote, well-groomed beard. Oh, man. It's good that the Yanks finally get with the time. Steinbrenner said he talked to a lot of players of the past, some current players, current coaches, past coaches, all of it. The decision rested with him, and he decided the place is here. The time is now. The Yankees now are allowed to have beards. It's fucking amazing that they went all these years not allowing facial hair. I could see if something was egregious, just so over the top. Brandon Marsh. Now, don't get me wrong. I would allow beards on all of my teams. I would actually encourage them like Charles Finley used to do. But the Marsh thing, I could see how an owner might say, hey, look, I don't necessarily want my center fielder looking like a homeless dude. And, oh, hey, let's clean it up a little bit. So, on that note, it will be fun to see what the Yankees do and how far they push the envelope with having the new facial hair. Okay, top 100 fantasy players came out. I found this really interesting. And it's not just like, say, the top 20 guys, whatever. Let's go 20-1 for fun. 20 Paul Skeens. Not a lot of pitchers on the list. Only 2 pitchers at the top 20. Skeens is at 20. Jarren Duran. There's a sneaky top 20 guy. Left fielder, center fielder for the Red Sox. Then you have Tariq Skubal at 18. After that, there's not another fucking pitcher on the list. Not one. The other thing I found interesting, okay, 17 is Freeman. 16 Bryce Harper. 15 Yordan Alvarez. 14 Francisco Lindor. 13 Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 12 Julio Rodriguez. 11 Fernando Tatis Jr. 10 Juan Soto. So the dude that got paid more money than anybody else, and I believe the history of sports, is number 10 when it comes to actual value, at least from a fantasy perspective. Corbin Carroll's at 9, Kyle Tucker at 8. Remember, Kyle Tucker's on the Cubs. Mookie Betts at 7. Gunnar Henderson, there's a sneaky pick. Baltimore Orioles at 6. Jose Ramirez at 5. Ellie De La Cruz, probably because of his stolen bases, at 4. Aaron Judge at 3. Bobby Witt Jr. at 2. And numero uno, Shohei fucking Ohtani. That is it. Okay, so if you're a Giants fan, and obviously we're pretty Giants heavy here on the Daily Hustle, and Deuce is Wild, basically, all the insight that Thrill's able to get us, and I grew up a Giants fan myself. The first Giants player on the list of top fantasy players, who is it? Willy Adames at number 66. The first A's player on the list, Brent Rooker at number 69. Logan Webb is number 70. So, yeah, how does that bode for the 2 Northern California teams? Probably not very well. Alex Bregman is number 100. Think about that. Number 100. And obviously, this just measures offensive production. But this dude's making 40 fucking M's this year. And comes in at number 100 on the fantasy rankings. So, Lawrence Butler also on that list, a beloved A that, by all accounts, is trying to sign a contract extension. And give the A's some kudos. They gave a contract extension to Mark Kotsay, and he fucking earned it. This team has outperformed what they would have been expected to do the past few seasons. He certainly represents everything the A's are about. He takes the past, he meshes it with the current, and this is a guy you want riding this franchise into the future. So ideally, this is a guy who's going to be opening Las Vegas. It's nice that he's not a city duck now, right? It just didn't make sense. He was in Oakland, and then now he's going to be in Sacramento. I asked him, I saw him at the airport in Cabo. I'm like, dude, you guys getting a place in Sac? What? He's like, I have no idea, man. He's like, this is kind of a year-to-year thing, and I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know where the A's are going to be. Yeah. So hopefully he just stays with them throughout. This is a brilliant baseball mind, one of the better baseball guys I've ever been around. I mean, just in the sense of having a feel for the game. He's done a good job surrounding himself with a great coaching staff. I know Mike Aldretti, one of my favorite coaches of all time, has perennially been on his staff. And you got guys like Bobby Crosby and Eric Martins and just dudes that I hold near and dear to my heart. And it's good for Mark Kotsay. On another note, Aaron Boone, extended by the Yankees. Found this interesting. It's a vote of confidence, obviously, for Boone. A lot of people, that is, I don't know how or why, but calling for Boone's head after he takes them all the way to the World Series. Dodgers were very critical of Boone's tactics during the World Series. Yeah, I get it. They probably could have been a little bit more polite or kosher about the way they said things. You can put that on Boone all you want. I'm also going to put on the players. So it's one thing if it's, don't get me wrong, the buck's going to fall on you. You're the fucking manager. But I think the Yankee players need to clean up some of the fundamentals. And, again, spring training, if there's a time to do it, place is here, time is now. And then Juan Soto, he ends up getting Brett Beatty I think it was a Tahoe. Let's see here. Before deciding what to give to Brett Beatty in exchange for uniform number 22, Juan Soto consulted his sources. Soto grinned while retelling the story, unwilling to reveal the identity of his bulls. We have some guys, was all he would say. Through the back channel, Soto learned that Beatty has always wanted a spacious black-on-black SUV. As Soto schemed, Beatty was none the wiser. It wasn't until traveling secretary Edgar Suero asked Beatty to join him in the players' parking lot Thursday morning that he discovered a brand new Chevy Tahoe waiting there for him. The SUV had a large red bow fastened to the hood and a message scrawled on the back of the windshield, "Thanks for number 22. So, a lot of people have been saying, I don't know, you sign a $765 million contract, you might want to give him more than a Tahoe. And I'm like, wait, what? What the fuck, man? He didn't owe Beatty shit. He signed a $765 million contract. Trust me, he's going to get whatever fucking number he wants. Now, it's customary to give the guy a little gift, just a little something. If you are a free agent, you sign, and certainly sign for some dollars. But trust me, Beatty should be very grateful just to get anything. It wasn't that Beatty was complaining. Beatty was stoked about the whole thing and very appreciative. It's just the outside world like, yeah, man, how about a Lambo? It's like, what? Shut the fuck up. They didn't have to get him anything. Absolutely nothing. So it was a cool gesture by Soto. Beatty gets his Tahoe. And apparently for years, he was driving around some old rig that was like, man. So he's got his thing. And I think the whole customary buy. Look, it's trump card. I mean, this is your dude. This is your superstar. He comes in, he gets his number. I mean, especially. And Beatty's a promising young player, a lot of potential. But this has been kind of an up and down guy. So it is cool that he did get the SUV. It is cool that it's a Tahoe. But once again, whoever thinks there's expectations there, they're out of their fucking mind. All right, that's it for the Daily Hustle. I got to roll. Biscuits, ski racing, got some pickle. Got to get to a fundraiser tonight for my boy Ozzy. Double Sky Point, dude. We miss you. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. Back with the Daily Hustle on Monday. Oh, let's not forget our title sponsor, Bet Online. Our number one online gambling destination for all the latest news, scores, odds, predictions. Go to Bet Online. NBA firing. MLB spring training games just starting. NHL in full swing. I have a feeling you're getting a lot more viewers on the NHL this season just because of what happened with this Four Nations tournament. And kudos. Hopefully the NBA can learn from it. Pepe and I talked about it with Major League Baseball. They have it right with the WBC. Very similar sort of feeling. But this certainly is the route going forward. All right.